You failed, Your Highness. I am a Jedi, like my father before me.
Hey fellow nerds, welcome back. This is the Fellowship of the Nerds and I am your host, Luke Skywalker, and today we have a very interesting review. Now, we always do stuff like lightsabers and other nerdy stuff in the past, but we've never covered books, and today I want to focus on books, in particular, books within the Star Wars universe that were launched a few years ago that had both a normal edition and what was called Vault Editions. Now, these were books based around categories within the Star Wars universe. So within this Vault Editions, you have the Book of Sith, for example. You have the Book of Jedi. You have the Book of Bounty Hunters. You already would have seen this in the background whenever we have done reviews. And I will talk about them as well. But we're going to start with the new ones that we've gotten, because this is the Imperial Handbook Vault Edition. And we've also gotten, I mean, you can't really get the Empire if you don't get the Rebels, because these are the Rebel Files, Vault Edition. Let's open these up, because they're, like I said, they're not really new. These are editions that have been, that were out years ago and are now completely out of print. So getting new ones is actually quite a feat that I'm sort of proud of. But obviously we need to open them up and see, you know, if there might be any battery leakage or anything like that. Hopefully not. Hopefully they'll work, because these things are really cool. And just to give you an example, the Book of Sith right here, look at this. The holocron opens up and then the actual book comes out. Is really, really a cool thing. And don't worry, we'll have a look at the insides of this shortly. But I hope that these work, because stuff like this is pretty awesome. So let's unwrap them and check them out.
May the Force be with you, Padawan.
Okay, let's start with the Rebel Files, which are really cool. Now, I want you to have a look here, because I think it's hilarious that this supposed to open up and reveal essentially like the plans of the Death Star that they see in A New Hope. And then there are like files. We see files here for Jen Erso. So this was done after Rogue One, obviously. And I think that they're really, really cool. So like this flies up to the side, just like this, and reveals the box. With the instructions, which I think is pretty nice. Because, I mean, it's not that it's rocket science, but it's always a good thing to have. And then we reveal this, and look at that. That is really, really something. So we're going to take this out of the box, check if there's any issue with the batteries, and then we'll reveal what's inside. Okay, now that we have it out of the box, the instruction says that you have to put this flat and slide this open. So if you actually do that, what you get is you open this, and then you remove the protective padding, and you have here the Rebel Files, and this is supposed to come up as the projector does on. Okay, we hear sound. I will open it in a second, but that means that the battery is okay, so that's amazing. Let's focus on the book, which is, at the end of the day, the purpose of the review, the books. So the books are, on these, usually are very good. So we have this memo to the attention of General Leia Organa from Corcella, and this is about an artifact discovery. Talks about occurring on the same day as the Battle of Endor, 3 Star Destroyers positioned themselves about the outskirts of Darth Nihil's Industrial Center in response to rumors of a secret rebel meeting. Through jamming transmissions, the Empire chose not to make arrests or demand surrender. Instead, they went straight to orbital bombardment. I think this is around the, well, essentially ended up being the prelude to the Battle of Jakku. I could be wrong. It's very nice. So it starts with Alliance Chronicle #1, organizing the rebellion. We can see here the meeting. This is concept art actually from the prequels. This is a meeting that Mon Mothma and Senator Organa held with Padme on her quarters, and this is very, very good. We have illustrations here from, clearly looks like to be Rebel, the Rebel series. We have here instances of Syndulla Strikes Again. So obviously, definitely this comes around the time of Rebel. So this is incredibly cool. There's a ton of material in here. And then we have supplement files at the end. So it says Pocket 1, Prison Intake Form, Liana Halleck. Pocket 2, Javin Base Evacuation Checklist. Pocket 3, KDY Corporate Folder. And Pocket 4, Alliance Intake Personal Car of Lando Calrissian. So yes, you do have here, they come like in little files, which I think is very cool. And yeah, sure enough, you see here, for example, this car bought from Lando. I love that. It says age unverified. Height 177 meters, weight 79 kilograms. Oh, okay. So in Star Wars they do metric. They don't do Imperial. I think that's kind of fun. Let's check out this projector here. Okay, now that we've done everything we need to do and verified that the battery is opening and it's working, if you press this little button that's sort of hidden there, now we take this off and take a look at that. You can see the projection like they do in A New Hope once Luke and Leia and Han bring back the Death Star plans. I think this is, I mean, it's just a gimmick, but it's a very nice gimmick. So I think this is, if you can find one, this is absolutely worth it. Let's go now to the Imperial Handbook and check that one out. Okay, the Imperial Handbook is not a slide one. You have to lift this one up. We do that. And we reveal this, which is pretty cool, I'm not gonna lie. We're gonna take this out of the box and show you, well, we're gonna inspect the battery, double check that everything is okay, and then we're gonna show you how it opens up, reveals, and the contents inside. Okay, now that we've gotten it out of the box, this is pretty cool. Batteries are okay, although something I will be doing just for peace of mind will be, because this has been on for so long, we'll still be replacing batteries once this review is completed. But and I know that's not very eco-friendly, but you know, you don't want to risk something that's been sitting on device for that long to, you know, suddenly leak. So by all means, if you get one of these and it's still new and it works, replace the batteries, because, you know, it's been around for a while. So the opening of this is very peculiar. You're supposed to hit both sides. This is pretty cool. Unfortunately, it doesn't close the same way. There's no automation. You just have to push them. You have to lay them on a flat surface and push them together until they click. And you know, the sound of it is not really nice. But other than that, it's a really cool gimmick. So the book, move here. There is a medal inside, an Imperial medal, which I, you know, think it's kind of cool, even though, you know, the Empire are the bad guys. I would say that it's always cool that there's stuff like this. So the Imperial Handbook does come, serial number says small printed volume with black cover, filed by Commander Luke Skywalker, Alliance Command. So essentially, This is actually something that you guys will see in the Book of Sith. It is supposed to have been compiled by Luke, a lot of this. So it's kind of a cool thing. There is also something, I think it's called the Secret Book of Jedi, but they're being reissued next year on the Secret Book of Sith. And they're being reissued next year with, like, with a more updated version. But those were also, like, compiled by Luke and compiled by the Sith one by Palpatine, if I recall correctly. We will be doing a review of those when they come out next year. But anyways, we get to this. You have a commander's guide. So you have part 1, the Imperial Military, part 2, the Imperial Navy, part 3, the Imperial Army, part 4, the Stormtrooper Corps, part 5, the Imperial Doctrine, and concluding up from his Imperial Majesty, which we're going to jump to straight away, because that will be by Palpatine. That's 159. Ah, yes. Here it is. A memo by Palpatine, signed Emperor Palpatine. It says, you have now vital knowledge of the Empire's armed forces, but this volume is the smallest part of your lesson. You are a commander. In this role, you must excel. To excel, you must fight, and when you fight, you may die. Yet, even in death, you will never be defeated, for the Empire, held aloft on the shoulders of its warriors, is ever victorious. The Imperial Navy, Imperial Army, and the Stormtrooper Corps will fight on after you have fallen. Through your service, we vanquish our enemies. Through the staggering power of our super weapons, we ensure that our beaten foes stay cowed. There is no greater calling than to wear the uniform of the Empire, of the Imperial military. Go forth and enact my will. I'm not going to say who that reminds me of a little bit these days, but pretty clear, I would say, that even though Lucas has said that when he made Star Wars, the rebels were Viet Cong, the Empire was the US, I've always found that because of the way of the uniforms and stuff, there was clearly a clear inspiration by, 1930s and 40s Germany. I will leave it at that. And, you definitely can hear when you read stuff like that the inspiration is there. The contents themselves, there's a lot of what seems to be handwritten notes on the sides. There's one here. As somebody who actually graduated from the academy, I can say that nobody really believes this stuff. Not even the guy who wrote it. And it's signed by hand. Indoctrination like this is what we have to fight if we want to win hearts and minds. And it's signed by Leia. So it's really, there's a note here also signed by Wedge. Really, really impressive book. Like, I really, really like it. So these are the new ones. Now, the other ones, like I said, we have this one. This one, unfortunately, is very hard to find one that works fully, properly well these days, unless you buy a brand new one, which will be a really stupid amount of money. This one I got, it works fine, but when you close it, you have to, like, push it in because it just, kind of doesn't want to go in by itself. But other than that, the same deal. See, here it is. Each recovered text has its own texture and size. We'll never know what the complete book looked like. These pages are all that remain. Luke. Book of Sith, it has like so many annotations as well. It's a preface by Darth Sidious. There's a few notes here by Luke. The bottom one says, New Republic Intelligence wants to review this book and as a favor to Wedge and Leia and Ella. I wonder if that's a typo. It was supposed to say Leia, but it says Ella. I've agreed. I've numbered the pages for NRI's reference, Luke. It has, it's so many notes. Exile and Arrival. Exile Year 1, Month 3 and 4. I'm not Sith. I do not share the blood yet. In the time since we arrive among these savage people, we have become their rulers. For the Force strong must ever seek power. We have adopted their titles, their dress, and their traditions. We are no longer Jedi expelled from the Republic's mother embrace. We are the Gen Jedi, Lords of the Sith. Really, really cool notes. Talk about the first great schism, the 100-year darkness, the proud people of the Sith. Really impressive. Has stuff, here stuck in between the pages. Well, it's really, really something. And then inside this, you have this. Okay, I couldn't take it out. I don't want to force it open, but it looks like a red kyber crystal, which I think is pretty cool. Now we look at the Book of Bounty Hunters. And this one's pretty cool for one particular reason. It has a car in the back, right? Any car will do, but you're supposed to insert it. And it opens up as if it was, a bolt kind of thing. It has the bounty hunter code. Opens very slowly. It has wanted posters for Han and Chewie. It has a wanted poster for Han and Chewie. That's also, Naresh, I think it's pretty cool. You have captain's credit license, pilot being Boba Fett, a ship operating license for a ship, the Slave One. This definitely was released before the change because I know that they've removed now the title. You have Alliance Forces, Outer Rim Command, Tatooine Patrol is an incident report. You have like a little book within the book that's called Making a Killing by Kratos, head of the Bounty Hunters Guild. That's amazing. It has a book inside the book. And then you recognize this dart from Attack of the Clones. I think this one's pretty cool. Now the Bounty Hunter code itself says here, Dengar gave me this copy of the handbook. Bosk and Greedo must have owned it before him. Their notes are written throughout, knowing what the guild is up to and how they do business has proven useful to me, Boba. So, yeah, you have misconceptions about bounty hunters, becoming a bounty hunter, requirements for joining the Bounty Hunters Guild. This is pretty cool. There's nothing inside the pages, like, for example, the one on the Book of Sith, but pretty nice all around. And not last but not least, we have the Jedi Path. It's always been a favorite of mine. It's really, really cool. I always thought that, and pretty much the same like the Imperial Handbook, like it has the gimmick to open up, but then you have to just push them together. See, it does tell you, press the platform down so the left and right sides click into lock position. So it's really automatic, but sort of manual. And then the Jedi Path, also obviously done by Luke, with a whole letter written in Jedi Praxis ABY 24th. It's a really long letter, which I will not read. But it has Part 1, Introduction to the Jedi Order. Part 2, Jedi Initiate. Part 3, Padawan. Part 4, Jedi Knight. Oh, Jedi Master. Wonder if Anakin will have something to say about that. And yes, this one does have stuff like, say, for example, you have here the Creed of the Jedi. There's no emotion, there's peace. There's no ignorance, there's knowledge. There is no passion, there's serenity. There's no chaos, there's harmony. There's no death, there is the Force. Yeah, with pages torn. Says these pages were already torn out when the book came into my possession. I don't know who tried to suppress the prophecy, but it was most likely the Emperor. Oh, wow, okay, that's... Wonder what that would have been. Really, really, really cool. Really nice. And these books are all... Well, I mean, I don't think this is leather, but this is faux leather, and it's really nice. Overall, I have to give it to Disney. This was a really insane collection to carry on. If I recall correctly, the Jedi Path and the Book of Sith came. I think the Jedi Path definitely, if I'm not mistaken, came before Disney bought Lucasfilm, but the Imperial Handbook and stuff that came after. So like, it's a nice thing to see that the collection was completed, and you have pretty much the history of Star Wars from all points of view. Not just a certain point of view. You have the Jedi, you have the Sith, you have the Empire, you have the Rebels, you have the Bounty Hunters. It's sort of like a book version, if you will, of the Tales series, right? We have Tales on the Underworld, Tales of the Jedi. I'm pretty sure they're going to continue doing that, and they will do Tales of the Sith, and they'll do more. So like, this is a kind of cool thing to have and to read. We will definitely be given the new ones a full read now, but I will 100% recommend them. Especially, if you can get them that they still work, either because they're new or they're used but they still work. Absolutely enjoy it. There are versions of this that is just the books. It doesn't have the whole like vault packaging and the vault edition with the special packaging. So if you're not that fussed about the nicety of these editions, but you want to read the books, you can find the books. They're not really that expensive. As a matter of fact, on the last Comic-Con that we went to, I spotted the Book of Bounty Hunter signed by Jeremy Bullock that was being sold at that Comic-Con. So, but it was just the book; it wasn't the full Vault edition. So, there is definitely a case for the individual books if you want. But these are really cool editions. So I would 100% recommend it. If you're a Star Wars fan, like I'm pretty sure you are because you're watching this channel, these are must-have in my opinion. But maybe you think differently. Let me know what you think in the comments. I hope that you liked the video. If you did, please leave a like, consider subscribing, share, all those wonderful things. And remember, until we meet again, the Force will be with you, always. Remember to live long and prosper, and may the odds be ever in your favor. See you around, nerds.